All right. Welcome into First Round Mock with the scout, Mr. Daniel Kelly. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you, Stacy. How are you this fine day?
Fantastic. It's been a week, and we are 1 week closer to the NFL draft. And let's face it, for lots of NFL fans, that's all we have to look forward to now in the near future, as some of our teams are already out of the playoffs, surprisingly enough. So I'm already starting to chomp at the bit for the NFL draft, and I am getting a lot out of firstroundmock.com. So this week, and I love that we're on a bit of a streak here with you, Scout, we're going to take a look at another defensive back that you seem to be pretty high on. Let's take a look at Mississippi State's Emmanuel Forbes. What can you tell us about this kid, and how high are you on him?
I like him. I like him a lot. I mean, and I don't like many of them, so that should tell everybody something. I mean, this guy is a lean framed, just a predatorial type of corner, as I like to, is a phrase I've termed. He's a guy that's 6 foot, even 180 pounds, nice lanky frame. I went back in 2021 at First Round Mock. We're held accountable to game film. We grind. Looked at the game film of 2021. I'll circle back to the 2022 film coming up here in a month or two. But so far, I've looked at him in 2021 against Kentucky, Alabama, and LSU. And let's face it, in today's pass-happy, league that we watch every Sunday with all the rules and our favorite towards the offense and everything, on defense, it's about being able to get to the quarterback, and it's about being able to cover the passing game and be able to defend it. It's about finding corners, okay? When you're talking about corners, it's about finding the ones who have that confidence and that swag to play out on an island all by themselves and take on the game's best wide receivers. It's about finding those guys with that athletic ability that can keep up with them and match them. And that's what Emmanuel Forbes is brought to the game. And that brings us to him, talking about him today, who recently declared for the 2023 NFL draft. Forbes is a flashy playmaker. Okay. He's an all or nothing type of guy who's the most talented cornerback I've seen on game film heading into the 2023 NFL draft. Okay. He's got the most playmaking upside. The main issue is, for every great play that Forbes makes, he makes an opposite one that leaves me kind of scratching my head. He's kind of that all or nothing type of corner. Much like if for fans out there who remember the names DeAngelo Hall, the riverboat gambler, who was kind of an all or nothing type of corner, a Fred Smoot, that type of a corner. That's another comparable that I would bring to the table. There's some inconsistencies, but hey, when Forbes is on, he is on. In some ways, Forbes reminds me of another cornerback I looked at last year in 2021, heading into the game film, heading into the draft last year. What was looking at a guy by the name of Ahmad Gardner, of course, the big-time corner from the University of Cincinnati. There's some Gardner, there's some sauce to Forbes' game. Okay, Forbes has those long, lanky arms, that kind of athletic ability, the stay in phase with receivers and press man coverage. Plus, he has that coveted must-have for first-round corners, that short area burst. Forbes has it to be able to burst to the ball. Forbes, as I talked about, demonstrates a great ball instincts time after time after time. Check out these numbers, folks, okay? The stats don't lie, okay? The numbers don't lie. In 2020 and 22, he had 10 passes defended and 6 interceptions, okay? In 2021, he had 5 passes defensed and 3 interceptions, 6 passes defended in 2019, and then he had, or 2020 rather, I'm sorry, and he had 5 interceptions that season as well. So, I mean, you're looking at a corner, okay? Let's get this straight, who's had 21 passes defended in 3 seasons and 14 interceptions. Those numbers scream playmaker. That's a guy that's got the athletic ability and the juice and the knowledge of how to play the ball. And that's what you need from a corner on an NFL defense. Playmaker. That's what we're talking about here. That's the thing I love most about Forbes. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. And that's what it's all about, is finding those guys in the first round, okay? As far as breaking them down specifically, the pluses on Forbes, he can come up in tight man press. He can play off man. He can play zone. He's best in tight press coverage. He mirrors well. He's got the hip flexibility. He can flip his hips nicely, turn and run. And he can stay in phase on the vertical routes. He's got excellent ball skills, as I've touched on, knows when to look for the ball, which is vitally important, and he's got good instincts to jump routes. The negatives, when he gets into the off-man situations, he gives up too much cushion in my mind. He allows the catch, makes the tackles after the fact. He's also he's a hit and miss tackler. Like he's more of a hitter than he is a tackler. He sometimes gives up too easily in coverage and also support. And really, it's the mental breakdowns at times, the mental lapses you see clearly on game film that an NFL team is going to have to live with when it comes to this elite type of ability that Forbes brings to the table. It's just going to be something that's probably going to follow him for the rest of his career. Okay, you got to take the good with the bad. But overall, bottom line, as I've touched on a couple times, Forbes is a plug-and-play player. You draft him, and I like him. As I said a lot. We see what the difference, what Sauce Gardner has meant to the New York Jets, taking the Jets last season ranked number 30th in the NFL in pass defense and elevating them all the way up to number 4. Of course, the additions of Reed as well at the other corner, and also Jordan Whitehead safety has helped too. But make no mistake about it, having that moxie and that aura that Sauce brings to the field, that aggression, that's infectious. Okay, that's elevated everybody's play, and those type of guys, they move the meter for your team, and that's why I think we've seen the Jets elevate so much in the pass defense this year, is because they've had a Sauce Gardner. Now Forbes, he'll be a difference maker all by himself. He's got that attitude that he brings to the field that's going to move the meter. Right now, Forbes is my CB2 behind Alabama's Eli Ricks. NFL teams really, they want these corners that make a difference, as I've said, and Forbes is the guy that makes a real difference. My grade first round is being a former NFL scout. I think we're going to see Forbes to somewhere in the neighborhood between maybe about pick number 15 and 24, kind of like we saw last year when we did the show together, when we talked about another corner, that predatorial corner from Florida, Kier Elam from down there. He's kind of in the same type of mold. He went number 23 overall to Buffalo. It's kind of interesting because, I kind of have him, mixed in that in that groove right there in the first round between 15 and 24. And oddly enough, CBS Sports put out a kind of an order where teams would be picking if the season ended today. And the New York Football Giants pick at number 24, and CBS Sports has the Giants needing a corner as their number one need. I could see Emmanuel Forbes going to the New York Football Giants, or the other team I can see him going to in the first round, who slayed the pick number 28 right now, is the Dallas Cowboys, whose number one need as well as a corner. And Jerry Jones loves those flashy type of corners. And let me tell you something, folks. If you plug in Emmanuel Forbes down in Dallas in the first round with Diggs at the other corner, okay, all of a sudden the Dallas Cowboys, in my mind, have the best 1-2 punch at cornerback in the National Football League. So all of a sudden, Dallas's pass defense becomes that much better in the NFC East. So it's going to be very interesting to see where Forbes lands. He's not getting the love that he should at this point, but this guy, he's got it. He's got that cornerback swag, as I refer to it as. He's a guy that makes a difference. He's aggressive. And I tell you what, if you want somebody that's going to come in and help set the tone on your defense, this guy, he brings a real edge to the football field, and that's part of the reason why I love him so much.
Okay. Went deep and went fast. He's a lean guy. When I look at him, I think, boy, he's lean in the calves and through the extremities. But yeah, then I watch Sauce Gardner on Sundays, and Sauce is built a little like this too, and he is dominating. He
Mhm.
is absolutely dominating. So you put him in that category, somewhere roughly in that category.
Yeah, he's got that attitude. He's got that,
Okay.
he's a difference maker. He brings that aura to the field that Sauce has brought in. It's that aura that says, I'm going to come right up on you and press man coverage, and I'm going to stay in your hip pocket the whole entire game as a wide receiver who's facing him, and he just stays there. And it's just that real aggressiveness, that edge. That's what he brings to the field.
Okay, fantastic deep dive, Scout. You can follow the Scout, and we encourage you to do so at firstroundmock.com, where he is doing deep, deep scouting on, in particular, those guys that he projects to go in the first round of the NFL draft in 2023. And you are not favoring any position groups, which is a lot of fun to see everything from offensive linemen to DBs getting your attention. So follow the Scout at firstroundmock.com. He is Daniel Kelly, former scout of the New York Jets.
Thanks for watching, everybody.